Right now on Upfront.
Back on U.S. soil.
We did not give them anything. We've made no concessions as a part of securing his return.
The Wisconsin soldier who willingly ran into North Korea expelled, now in U.S. custody in Texas, his family in Wisconsin reuniting.
She got to hear her son's voice and she was thrilled.
Now the questions about what happened and what's next. Our guest this Sunday, Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh.
The auto workers' strike expanding. More workers walking off the job this weekend.
Because we're talking about losing 100 jobs right here on this corner.
The picket lines in Wisconsin were one-on-one with local President Joe New.
How long do you think you'll be out here at this point?
The demands, the threats to shut down the facility, and the politics on the picket line.
And abortions expanding. Planned Parenthood moving ahead amidst an ongoing lawsuit. The high-profile decision calls for prosecution
to do their jobs.
And the high stakes ahead of 2024. Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin's president, Tanya Atkinson, is standing by in just minutes.
This is Upfront with Jaron Jordan and political director Matt Smith.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A chaotic weekend on Capitol Hill. ABC's This Week is tracking the very latest on the government shutdown from Washington.
Several other big stories developing we're following this weekend. The United Auto Workers strike expanding. Another 7,000 employees walking off the job at Ford and GM facilities in Chicago and Lansing, Michigan. But no more workers at Stellantis facilities, where UAW President Shawn Fain said Friday progress is being made. Still this weekend, those workers on strike, including here in Wisconsin, in Hudson, and Milwaukee.
No contract, no pay. No contract, no pay.
Outside the Stellantis Parts Distribution Center in Milwaukee this weekend.
What do we do? Stand up like that. What do we do? Stand up like that.
About 100 auto parts workers now entering their second week on the picket line. Workers in Milwaukee and Hudson, part of the 38 Stellantis and General Motors auto parts and distribution centers, joining the nationwide UAW strike.
These jobs belong in Milwaukee. We're asking to stay.
The impact of the strike may still be too early to tell, but it's quickly becoming front and center in the race for president.
What do we want? Contract. What do we want? Now.
President Biden this past week appearing on the picket line in Michigan, the first president in modern history to do so.
You guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well, too.
And just a day later, the dominant Republican frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, touring and speaking at a non-union auto parts factory outside of Detroit.
I put everything on the line to fight for you. I've risked it all to defend the working class from the corrupt political class that has spent decades sucking the life, wealth, and blood out of this country.
Trump's appearance the same night as the second Republican presidential primary debate, which, like in Milwaukee, the former president skipped again. The significance and endorsements of the blue-collar vote not lost on politicians or on the picket line.
They want 4-day French work weeks, but more money. They want more benefits, working fewer hours. That is simply not going to stand.
I'll say that I don't have a lot of patience for the union bosses. I think that's where he and I actually have a common view. I do have a lot of sympathy for the workers, however.
UAW Local 75 President Joe New in Milwaukee.
This has become political as well. What do you?
This has become political, but we also got a guy in the office named Shawn Fain. He's probably one of the best you're going to see go down in history for what he's done. And if you notice what he says, everything's the membership. Nothing is done personally for himself. He does everything for the membership. So I believe in Brother Fain, and that's why he also, I think he took us out, because he doesn't take threats from the company idle either.
Given that we're so close to a presidential election, Democrats and Republicans are looking for your votes and of your workers. Do you feel like you're pawns in the middle of this, or do you appreciate that?
In a way, every time politics come up into an election year, you see them more than anything. You can do it from small things. It's who works. It's not what party, it's going to be who worked. And again, we revert back what Fain said. You got to win his endorsement. He ain't giving no endorsements. Who helps him, that's who's getting it. Same with my local, too. We're endorsing who's going to do the best for us. And that's what we got to look for now.
At a rally this past week,
Let's go! I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win!
local elected officials, including Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley.
Hey, what do you make of the politics of this strike?
Well, for me, I think it's great that we are now really shining the light on what unions have actually done for this country and how we need to continue to support them with the things that they're going through.
Among the union demands, a 40% pay increase over a number of years and a 4-day work week. But in Milwaukee, the fear is Stellantis will close the plant and consolidate facilities in Illinois.
How serious is this threat of closing this plant?
This is a serious threat when you got a COO that was an Amazon representative that's worked for them that wants to make mega centers instead of regular part distributions. It was turned in as a proposal to close all Mopars, which are 18 of them worldwide. They got plans to move a few, but they want to move us into the empty Belvedere assembly plant and combine us with also Naperville.
What would that do?
That would devastate here. That would close here, and it would also close the plant in Chicago. That's $5 million, and we only have a combined $1 million, and they have $400,000. So it still leaves $3 million open. That would uproot everybody out of here, and if there's no language, they have nothing to leave on or move on.
Is that more important than the wages and the hours for you at this point?
Wages and hours are always everything that can be negotiated. I'm a stickler because wages mean nothing without a job. If we have no job here in Milwaukee and got to move, I've moved to 6 plants. So it's a big stickler for me to secure job security language, especially for Milwaukee in this local.
How are negotiations going, and what's your role in these conversations?
In our local negotiations, we're at about 50%. Not bad, but it's still oversaw by the company. I'll come to an agreement. They may not like things, I may not, but it's called negotiations. Myself and my shop chair, Omar Young, will come to an agreement that is more beneficial to the membership. But again, they got to approve it. I'm just a spokesman. Right.
How long do you think you'll be out here at this point?
Oh, I still think we'll be out for quite a while until they can up any kind of demands from the national side. And then we stay out as long as Brother Fain wants us. We're not going back. The minute Sean gives us the okay and the contract's approved, then we'll go back. But we want to fight to make sure we got a plant to go back to.
Bill Ford, executive chair of the Ford Motor Company, blasting the politics of the strike. According to a transcript obtained by the Detroit Free Press, Ford told employees during a town hall this past week, quote, "I'm very grateful to all our employees for everything they've done and continue to do for our company. What does anger me is the behavior of the politicians. Honestly, it's a circus we don't need because it doesn't help our employees and it doesn't help our company," end quote. State lawmakers this week also moving a number of proposed election changes ahead of the 2024 election.
One of them, introduced by a group of Republicans, would allow clerks to start processing absentee ballots the day before Election Day, a move election officials have been pushing for years.
November 2020, the city of Milwaukee processing a historic number, 170,000 absentee ballots during the height of the pandemic. State law prohibiting election officials from starting that process until Election Day morning. Because of that, not finishing until the middle of the night.
Did it with accuracy and transparency.
New legislation introduced by Republicans would allow, even force some municipalities to begin that process a day early.
This has been discussed and introduced before in the legislature. What are the chances this passes and the governor signs this session?
Well, I think this session has been different regarding some of these election issues. And then, last year there was all these concerns about election integrity that I think had a way of just kind of clouding the obvious. And now that I hope that cloud is gone, I think now we can make this bill happen.
What would that do to the timing of results?
The timing of results, we would be finished, I have confidence, every election before 9 p.m.
In your mind, would that help restore some confidence in the process that has dwindled?
Yes. So Wisconsin is one of only, I believe, 9 states that doesn't allow any pre-processing of absentee ballots. And being a swing state, it puts us in a really precarious position for conspiracy theories of these middle-of-the-night ballot dumps. So eliminating that, having full transparency, all of these processes would be open to observation from the public, from both parties. I think it would really go a long way in making sure that people aren't going to sleep with one set of results and waking up to dramatically different results in the morning.
Also this week, a public hearing is now scheduled on the Brewers funding bill. It's happening Thursday at State Fair Park. Last week, right here on Up Front, the bill's author, Representative Rob Brooks, revealed some of the changes Republicans are working on to secure Democratic votes. You can watch that interview along with Brewers President of Business Operations Rick Schlesinger and Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson right now on WISN.com/upfront, and also streaming on our YouTube channel and app, Very Local.
Coming up, the Wisconsin soldier back in U.S. custody this week, in North Korea releasing Army Private Travis King. Now, big questions about what happened and what's next. Pentagon spokeswoman Sabrina Singh standing by next.